Yeah, I just needed to double check. I don't think she ever took them off, but I
Nope.
needed to double check.
She will never
And,
take those off until she has something much, much better.
all right then, that's absolutely fine then. Captain, could you please direct them over to my workshop? I need to go and start getting the workers around for a very big job. And the captain will begrudgingly nod, and he'll step forward to Lily and instruct his fellow watchmen to kind of disperse the crowd as best as they can. And he'll head up to Lily. All right, are you going to be on the ship as well, or?
Well, I was hoping that perhaps it's a little cramped on board there. I was hoping perhaps we could visit some of your fine inns and look at your lovely city from the inside instead of above it.
All right, fine.
I'll be
Follow
fine
me.
staying on the ship.
Follow me.
I'm
He'll
okay
yell
staying
out.
on.
He'll yell up to the ship itself. If you're able to fly still, get up in the air and follow us over. Fly over the harbor, and I'll point you where to land.
Already on it. Cassie,
And
grab the wheel.
he's going to look over to Lily at this point as well, and he's going to tell her to follow him.
Mhm.
Cassidy will take the wheel, as was asked. The ship itself will be flown over to about here. Yeah, right about there. He will be sitting here on the harbors by the time you get there, and he'll kind of direct you to land there. This area is it obviously is water, but looking at it, especially now that you're down close, you can see that it is very shallow water, as though this is where they try to build a lot of the newer boats.
While they're
It's not-
walking through the
Well, at
town.
least lower than man. Or
Gently.
what
Well-
they might be doing is planning to lift it up on a lathe and bring it over above land to repair. Which
Yeah, well, this area is essentially as close to a dry dock as they have to work on it.
While they're walking through town, Lily's just going to speak to the guard, just figure out what his position is in the town, congratulate him on the excellent way that he handled it.
And
She has
he'll,
diplomacy skills.
yeah, he'll. Actually, I do a roll persuasion. Did you already do a roll persuasion? Roll persuasion. Yeah, that'll be good. And
That's
as you're going
fine.
along, he's more of he's a gruff man, which you've kind of already got the feeling of. He'll introduce himself as Anderson. He is the captain of the guard here in this town. It's his job to make sure that nothing bad befalls any of the people. And you could probably overhear him muttering a few points. He noticeably looks over Lily's cat ears. The only other crew member he saw was Shiki, and he kind of mutters an offhand comment about how these animal folks are bringing in so many strange things.
Oh, I'm not
what
really
else?
an animal folk. She's going to lift the ears off her head because she can and show him that...
Was the curse removed? I think it was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
And
right.
show him that she's just a normal girl, and then she'll put them back on.
And he'll look at you with an eyebrow raised, as though that didn't really do anything to help improve his opinion. It only made him think that she's a little more insane.
It makes me fight better. It lets me dodge a little bit better.
And he'll kind of just wave his hand as though it doesn't really. He's kind of not really caring about that right now. What else did Lily ask him?
What his position was in the town?
He already explained that as captain of the guard, and he'll go on further to say that he's basically one of the more influential people in this area. There's also the magistrate of this town who tries to keep things running day to day. The magistrate also typically oversees the port authority and all that stuff, and the man who they spoke to previous there was the head of the harbor, and Anderson doesn't say much on the head of the harbor, but Lily, roll an insight.
Wow.
Yeah, Lily can tell very easily that he does not think very highly of this man. Not so much like he's a crook or like a robber or whatever. He's a cheap, not a cheapskate either. He just is far too in love with money.
Are these all elves here?
Anderson is human.
Okay.
Best that you can tell. The man who, the Port Authority, which I still have to come up with the name real quick, he appeared to be elvish. The town itself seems to be made up mostly a mix of human and elves. You see a gnome, like a few different forest gnomes, A few different of the Kurgian animal folk as well. Mostly cats in this area. You see a bunny as well.
You mentioned the animal folk are bringing in some strange things. What kind of things are they bringing in besides, of course, the flying boat? We need a better name for this.
Nothing we've seen before in these lands. All this strange stuff happened about 10, 11 years ago. Things that shouldn't have existed in this world, but it's not causing trouble, so can't really kick them out for it.
You mean at the end of the war?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a war back then around that time. We weren't involved in it.
Oh yeah, that was more to the east where I lived.
The other side of the continent. So you're from the other side?
Yeah, towards Redwall.
And I'll kind of stop for a second, and as Lily watches him, she gets the feeling that he doesn't actually know where Redwall is. The only thing he really knows, he doesn't know much about the geography of this world. Seems more interested in like what's in this corner of the world than the world as a whole.
My mom came from this area, though.
I feel so sorry for you.
I know, right? Okay, I'll let us get back to the.
All right. Yeah. So back at the harbor, the ship was a bit set down. Looking around, Azul and Casti will offer to stay with the ship for the full time to make sure that nothing shady happens.
But I gotta stay around too.
I'm okay with staying here. I'm not too big on crowds.
I was gonna stay because I'm gonna spend some time not reading the book and actually inspecting the flying crystals things.
All right then. So I guess one of them gets to join you anyway, unless it's going to be the Lily show in town.
I'm sorry, I was just saying I was going to stay and do that. I actually said that in the chat a little bit earlier.
Yeah. No, I know you said it a while ago. I was just hoping that some of the people would want to explore the town.
I would have, but Shiki cares more about making sure the boat's done properly.
Ione can go.
Well, she could, check after it's done because while they're doing it, it's not
so
gonna
we
be
can
very-
basically also have Lily just wait around with the boat until Sayara has had the chance to look over those little crystals and everything. And as for the basic general layout of the town, let me go into that first. The red area down here is typically just like residential, commercial areas as well. It's more of like a higher class area. This over here would essentially be the keep. I say the keep, the town hall, which is where the magistrate spends most of his time. The blue area is a little more run down. It's not quite down to like the hovels and the ghetto, but it's not quite as up and well-to-do. You get the feeling that this is more work a lot of the servants and workers, field hands in the harbor, field hands in the port, etc. would be. You have the port area itself, which I'm going to go to this one because it's going to be easier. The port area itself down in here, which is all warehouses, taverns, and what have you down here for the sailors that come in. Port itself. This is the guard building over here. And then outside you have various farms and what have you. This is a very nice apple farm, by the way. Very nice apple farm.
Are they proud of their apples?
They are very proud of their apples.
Lily, after we leave the boat, she's gonna go over to the apple farm and buy a dozen and share with the guards.
All right. I'll have this do this while CR is looking over the thing. So I'm just going to take care of Lily first. And Lily, when you get over there, you determine that beyond apples, they also sell a number of apple products. This seems like apple juice, apple cider, and they kind of brag that they have some of the best hard apple cider in the area, right? In the world, they'll brag, actually.
How much does a keg cost?
What does a keg of alcohol cost? Well, let's be honest. This is alcohol. This is stuff I should have had looked up ahead of time.
There is a beer keg, I think, in the.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. There is. How do I spell? There's a barrel.
A gallon is 2 silver. There's probably 40 gallons in a keg, I think. So that would be like 8 gold, maybe 10 gold.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they'll sell it for 10 gold. They'll make a note that say like this. Or yeah, they'll sell it for 10 gold.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you want to buy a keg?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right. So they'll offer you up a keg. They'll be very grateful for the sale. Again, they'll repeat that how they're they have the best apples in the world. They'll ask if there's anything else you want.
The dozen apples.
All right. The dozen apples are actually going to be pretty cheap. You can buy a dozen apples for probably 3 silver.
I'm putting this out of my personal inventory, so. And Lily's going to roll the keg back to the boat, load it up on the boat, and share some of the apples with the guards that are helping around, including the captain, as a thank you.
All right.
And also give the guard a gold piece.
All right. Yeah. And the various guards do seem to be they're grateful to have the snack midday. Captain Willie remains his like little gruff self, but like Lily sets the apple out on him. Say a little. I'm gonna say there's like a little on the fence next to him. She can set it down on one of the fence posts, and he doesn't go for it immediately. But as she starts to walk away, she can see glancing back, she can see that it's gone, and he's currently eating something.
There was also a gold piece there for him, and she just said thank you.
Anyway, he starts coughing.
Don't eat the gold piece, no!
Too late, he did.
All right, Alto, you still here?
Yeah.
All right, so you wanted to examine those little markers on the map?
No, the glass beads that allow it to fly. The flying.
You mean the rings?
You mean the rings?
Yeah.
All right, so the focusing iris. You have the 3, obviously, that are all still intact all around. And then the 4th one, which was meant to go on the bottom, which you were able to recover, though the mounting on it had broken off. So you're going to be examining that one or the 3 that are on the...
I'll be examining the one that fell, and then I'm going to compare it to the one that's still
all
on
right,
the thing.
so
working.
roll Arcana.
And if it means anything, I do have Detect Magic prepared.
Yep. All right. I'll say you cast it as a ritual first.
Don't need it.
All right. So the first and very interesting thing you see about these is you're obviously not super into how technology works. So I'm going to be using those terms anyway to explain it so that you as a player know.
Yeah.
But with how the ring works, first of all, the rings do appear to be all identical as you examine this one and the other one. They use, what type of magic would this be? I think Objurgation would be a pretty good one. To explain
Abjuration?
it. Or Evocation, one of those two.
I was thinking transmutation, maybe.
Actually, no, Transmutation is another good possibility as well. I can't say for sure what it is because I'm very bad at understanding the schools of magic, sadly.
Yeah, me too.
When I say transmutation, I legitimately think changing one thing into another.
Yeah, that is what transmutation is.
I'm going to look up Featherfall for you because it's probably that.
It's not actually Featherfall. I think that's actually Abjuration or Evocation, though. But like how it works is they're designed to kind of gather magical energy in the air and use it to force. Like it'll grab the magical energy, makes a little like a field of the energy, which this ring is supposed to this ring of invisible energy, which is then it's very visible to know where it is because the flames that form around this ring. Obviously the flames that go around it, and the energy will go through here, get captured by it, and with how the energy that goes through the mounts up to these focusing irises, it will allow the ship to be pushed forward or backwards, basically grabbing this field and pulling the that center coil forward or backwards. To put it in our terms, it kind of works almost like magnetic coils. Think magnetism, but with magic.
How does it work?
And like I said before,
it's
like
basically causing lift by changing how the.
It's basically changing how the property works, like how physics works around the ship by manipulating this magical field, and then the invisible ring that forms throughout the focusing irises allows it to pull forward or backwards, up, down, etc., all that stuff. And with that third one that's on the bottom that's damaged, the field below is completely messed up. So though it can still fly and move around, if you don't have somebody there physically fighting against the how it's trying to like nose down, nose up, all the chaotic directions it's trying to go, if somebody's not at the wheel in the engine room as well, though the engine room isn't actually both areas, if they're not in the engine room and at the wheel at the same time fighting this chaotic backlash from not having the iris down there, it would nosedive, it would crash, all this different stuff.
So basically, because it doesn't have that focus in the bottom.
The chain on the bottom is completely broken and it's not able to go, or it doesn't. The field isn't working properly.
Does the one that fell off still have all of the enchantments and everything you needed to work on it, like the same as the other one?
Best that you can see on the map itself, it's kind of faded out, so you can see underneath it. There is the rope net essentially, so you can climb up to see the top one. And as you go up there and you compare the two of them, the tech magic, all this stuff, best that you can see, everything on them is intact, and you could probably, assuming you get a proper mounting that'll hold it in the right place, get all this stuff prepared.
All right.
That was a very useful natural crit.
It was a very useful one. If I needed a crit today, it was that one.
Yeah, so you probably, with that knowledge, you have a feeling that you might be able to understand when the shipwright tries to talk you into things that you don't really need.
Yeah. Basically, all we really need is to make sure it's watertight and to fix that one spot.
Yeah, it's like the fire moving around is definitely more useful because of the side effect, though even despite that, you could probably still move it through water if you wanted to. You could set it down safely. It's just that fire is a side effect. It's not the actual thing that's moving the ship.
Yes. Is there anything that is needed to prevent the boat from catching on fire? Or is this a magical fire that won't burn?
Best that you can see, this is a magical fire that doesn't really seem to actually burn anything. Like, you hold your hand next to it and it doesn't feel hot.
Cool. So when they try to sell us something to prevent the ship from catching on fire, we can tell them no.
Well, you can also... Did you actually put your hand in the fire at any point?
Sure, Lily would, yeah.
Lily, your hand is a little bit burnt.
Okay, how much?
So
damage?
you're fine if you go, let's say, 4 fire damage.
Okay.
But you would have rested it off by now
It's
anyway, so I'm not worried about that.
Why would
But
you do
it's
that?
basically where the fire is contained, so you can be next to it, but as long as you don't touch it itself, it'll be fine.
It's Lily, why would you do that? It's clearly not designed to burn itself down. That's
Because I've got
stupid.
this fire resistance amulet,
No,
which I used
no,
as a reaction.
That was dumb.
Doesn't hurt much.
Mm.
All right. And with that taken care of, was Sayara going to accompany Lily as explore the town a little bit?
I was doing that probably as she was leaving because I needed a time when the ship wasn't
she's
moving to
back
do
now.
that.
Yeah, Lily went out to get apples for the first part. She came back with a huge keg of hard apple cider.
Ah, fine, yeah, sure, then I'll go.
All right.
And Lily's eating an apple. She's got another one she can hand to Sayara.
Would you tell Shiki about all the stuff you figured out before you go? Or you literally just gonna let that information go to waste by running out?
Do it. She's our head engineer.
Well, yeah, the only information really I would need to say is the fact that we just need the focusing apparatus on there in order to keep the magical energies from working chaotically.
Okay, that was Shiki's plan anyway, but...
That's really all the information that I got was. The rest of it was more just how the magic itself worked.
Yeah, and that we don't need anything other than that.
Yeah, and Sayara doesn't have the technological background to realize that it's actually similar to a technological process.
Yeah. And I have no ship knowing ideas to know even if it's watertight.
In that case, I am keeping an eye on the repairs.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Sayara and Lily, as you wander out, do you have any specific goal in mind for a place to go?
Before we go anywhere, Lily's going to ask the shipwright how much he thinks it's going to cost in total.
And he'll look at it for a little bit, and he'll just go, Well, let's see. First order of business, you're going to want us to make sure that the ship itself is watertight, correct?
On the way.
Yes, it looks like we want it to be watertight, and we would also... Just like to repair the, I don't know what to call it, a spindle, I guess, that's holding the ring?
Yeah, I was just called a fin.
Fin?
Basically, that's what it is. Fin, thorn, something like that. Pylon would be another good term. And to say, and fix that thing on the bottom as well. Well, we'll have to lift it up, but you drain out to the dry dock. Be able to do that easily enough.
You can also fly it.
Hey, Lily, I got the cannons working again.
Oh, cool.
There are no... And you hear Zul call out, "What cannons? They're ballista!"
Ballista, cannon, same thing.
And Shiki pulls Azul aside. Like, it was a joke. He's probably going to screw us over.
But they're ballista. The ballista shoots bolts that are bigger than him.
But can
We could load him into the ballista and fire it at him.
but
And fire him out into the sun.
but big boom, big boom,
But if it doesn't work, we
boom.
can fire him.
big boom, big boom.
We can literally fire him.
Well, I think we've got a few feathers somewhere. We could just. You know what? It's actually quite a funny idea.
All right, so she's gonna try to get a quote from him.
Yeah. He's gonna say, based on, I should have had this looked up for. Please tell me the DMG has the one bit of information I want to see right now.
The cost of lumber.
No, not that.
Cost of repairs.
Yes. All right. So he'll look it over. He'll be thinking on it a little bit. Well, a ship this size would. Oh, this would probably cost you at least as much as a sailing ship, or maybe even 2 different sailing ships. But for what you need to do, I figure we could get these repairs taken care of in about 3,000 or 4,000 gold pieces.
Sayara's with me. I'm gonna cast Insight. Cast
That's a
it
spell?
as a spell, as a 4th level spell, please.
The 14 is a 4th level insight cast.
Yep. If Sayara would like to help. Okay,
Oh.
cool. That's helpful.
All right. You seem that he's being honest right now. Like, the biggest thing that he seems concerned about, and why he's saying that price specifically, that he doesn't really, he's never
Know
worked on
himself.
this, so it's a new thing himself. So he's going with this assumption right now is just like a basic quote.
Okay.
So this is what most he can say right now.
Right. Well, our
I
budget
don't see that many holes.
our budget is about 2,500.
Don't say the budget.
Don't say the budget. Did Lily say at least that much though?
Yes.
At what point did Sayara cut her off?
I was cutting her off right when she said our budget.
And you could see his eyes kind of lit up at the sound of the word budget. Yes, how much do you have to offer now?
We'll let you know after we get done with everything.
It's a little less than that, though.
Yes, of course. Well, before everything gets started, we will need to see some of this money up front. Say 1,000 gold pieces?
We'll give you
500.
500 up front.
750.
600. Sorry, I'm over here. Just sharpening my projectiles.
700.
Roll persuasion.
Can I persuasion?
Sayara said it.
I did.
Can I help?
My charisma isn't that bad.
I
Where's
have a
persuasion?
+7. Yes.
Oh, very well.
It went nat
700.
20 to a 1 to a nat 20.
Yeah. Oh, very well. 700 gold up front, and he'll hold his hand out for a money bag.
I will hand it to him.
Right.
In
And you
gold
hand him
coins.
the 700 gold coins, and he will look them over, take one out, bite on it to make sure. Yes, of course. All right, then. We'll get right to work. Enjoy your time in Westhold.
If you can, when do you think it'll be done?
I can't honestly say yet. It shouldn't take too terribly long, a few days.
A few days. Well, if you can get it done before the week's out, I'll buy everyone here an apple.
Oh boy,
Yes, of
an
course.
apple.
Yes, of course. And he kind of just dismisses that with a little laugh and head off to gather a few of the workers he has in a nearby warehouse.
What? I wasn't gonna offer more money.
All right, so you guys have
After
a
he
destination in mind?
leaves, I'm just going to tell you never tell somebody your budget up front, because if you tell them all that you have, they're going to charge. Guess how much?
All that you have, but he was asking for more.
True,
So I was just
but
gonna tell him our budget's less than that, and then he won't charge us more.
fair enough.
Let's go through the city and see what we can find. This is a new place. I like exploring.
All right. Just exploring the town itself. Fair enough. And as you're kind of wandering around, there are probably 2 or 3 other ships in the harbor right now. You can kind of get the feeling that people are enjoying this good weather after the storm to relax, shore leave, all that stuff. As you're walking by one of the taverns, you can see a large, burly man, human, just grabs somebody and he throws an elf out onto the street. And the elf, just, you don't need really much chance looking at him. You can tell that this elf is heavily inebriated.
How late in the day is it?
This is probably, at this point when you got here, it's probably into the evening.
So about like 6?
6, 7, maybe a little later.
Lily's just gonna stop over the elf and be like, "It's a little early to be that drunk."
And
is this my cue?
Oh, you are actually here! Holy shit! Now I'll be honest, Sauce. I was basically throwing out your appearance and everything because I had no idea how to handle it at this point.
Yeah, I apologize. I overslept, but I made it just in time.
This wasn't actually supposed to be your appearance.
Sorry, mind if I step in?
I completely threw out your appearance because I was not expecting you to be here today. Yeah, so I was going forward without like a plan to not have to worry about that. All right, let me first of all, the housekeeping. The voice you hear there would be Overlord SOS. Sauce, as we call him, moderately lovingly, depends on our mood.
Always.
He is a fun little guy.
Secretly a pasta sauce.
Secretly a pasta sauce.
No, he's a hot sauce.
He has a bit of free time for the next few weeks, so I was going to willingly let him guest star in the session for those few days and have his character and everything taken care of. Not actually going to introduce them quite yet, but it should be relatively soon. So yeah, you'll step over that elf and you'll head into the. Are you heading into the tavern then?
I was going to help the elf to his feet. Her.
Roll a perception check.
Do I have
Spot for
disadvantage
traps
because it's an elf?
Spot for traps. You're looking for traps here. Was that what you rolled for? That 8 and 11?
Yep.
You have no clue what gender this elf is. Neither does Sayara.
Yeah.
Definitely not my character then.
Definitely not your character.
Freaking elves. So yeah, Lily's just gonna say it's a little early to be drinking that much, don't you think?
Why would we drink this much? I mean, look at everything that's changing. Even the island's disappeared again.
He's been drinking so much, it's almost like someone cheated him out of all his money.
And at that point, he kind of bends over and he just starts throwing up on the ground. And you gonna stay next to him as he throws up?
No.
Sayara's already gone. Lily's just kind of... She hasn't seen very many elves throw up before, so she's kind of just a little flabbergasted.
Sayara's been around enough sick bays to know when somebody's about to hurl.
Yeah, and he's hurling up. Probably everything he drank, you can smell alcohol. It's a rather sickening scent. Roll a Constitution save, Lily.
Sayara, is there anything you can do for this poor guy?
Lily, you are not sickened.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
I have one idea. I just need to see if it actually doesn't have a material cost. I'll just do this on him then.
All right, and you go forward and you cast Restoration on this elf, and the elf, he still looks, assuming it's a guy, it's still very hard to tell. Assuming, looks like he's a little less, like he's not going to be throwing up anymore. Still seems like a little green around the gills, so to speak, but not quite to the point where he's throwing up anymore. And he kind of waves his head up and says, "Thank you."
No problem.
Maybe you should get a job.
So, what did you say about the island disappearing?
Oh yeah, Flying Island, it's gone.
When did it disappear?
Other day, there was 2 storms that just kind of met around it, and they both vanished, and like just wore themselves out, and there's no island anymore.
Were you drinking at the time?
I was here. I heard it from some of the sailors.
Were they drinking?
Probably. They're sailors.
This is a tavern already.
Fair enough. Well, thank you, I guess.
Hey, thank you. And they'll stumble back up to their feet, and they'll kind of stagger off and roll another perception check for me.
Are we looking at his or her butt as she goes away?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm just mesmerized by the butt itself.
Sayara, you think this is a girl, but you don't know. Lily, you have no bloody clue.
It's a nice butt, though. Lily doesn't discriminate, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Now that that's done with,